personal tale. I don't normally tell personal tales, but being asked by Simona to think of a story about kindness, this memory popped up in my mind and I thought I'd share it with you. It was several years ago, must have been 2 decades or something like that. I was still quite young and I had gone to work for the summer at Mallorca, Spain. So I had found a job as a receptionist at the local casino, and I was sharing an apartment with a Colombian friend of mine, and I was just there for the summer, so I did not have much. I did not cook often. We would get lunch, dinner at work. It was part of the contract, so most of the time I would just have some breakfast or brunch or light lunch in the daytime until I would get to work. So I was living in one of the most central parts of La Palma, Mallorca, very close to Las Ramblas. Not Las Ramblas Barcelona, Las Ramblas Palma de Mallorca. So there I had found this cafe very close to where I was staying, and I had come acquainted with a lady that owned it, who came from some Latin American country. I'm not sure whether it was Nicaragua or Chile. She was a very nice person, very kind one, and I would often go to her cafe and have a cup of coffee and a sandwich that was good enough to keep me until I would get to work later on. So in one of our chats, I remember her telling me how she had kind of adopted, fostered a kid in Africa. She would pay a little money every month so that the kid, through an organization, of course, the kid would be fed and clothed and sent to school, etc. And she had shown me pictures of that kid because they would have telephone conversations or write letters back then, and then photos would be sent to her with the kid going to school or wearing decent clothes, etc., so that she would find out for herself that her money was not being wasted. It was actually put to good work. And then, if I remember correctly, she had taken on another kid as well. So she said that it made her feel very good with herself doing that, and that if I wanted, I could do the same. She could provide information, etc. To be shamefully honest, at that time in my life, I wasn't interested in investing in goodness, let's say. But there came a point when I realized that that very kind soul had actually been very nice to me too, not only with her attitude, but also in a very practical way, which I had not come to realize until that day, when it was a few days before my return home trip, when I was sitting at her cafe having a cup of coffee and a large ham sandwich that she would make for me as usual, and I would, I was living the life like that of a bachelor, of a university student. So if she gave me a big sandwich, I would just wolf it down, and then I would wait for my next meal when I would get to work. So I'm sitting at the table at her cafe, having my coffee and my very large sandwich being brought in front of me, which I had not yet wolfed down on that particular day, when another client comes, sits at a table very close to mine. the lady comes to take his order. He asks for another sandwich, a ham sandwich, but then he pauses for a minute, turns to me, looks at mine, and he said, "But I don't want a sandwich as large as that one." And she said, no, don't worry, I won't get you a sandwich as large as that one. That one is a double. So I realized then that she had been feeding me double portions all this time and charging me for a single one. And I couldn't bring myself to mentioning this to her or, thanking her especially for that, because I felt that she was not doing it in order to receive a thank you. She was doing it out of kindness. We had exchanged a few words. She knew I came from Greece. We had talked a little bit about ourselves, and I can't say we had become friends, but she was this mommy type. I could clearly see that she was getting pleasure out of taking care of others, feeding others, and she had been doing it for me all this time. So even though I don't recall her name any longer, I have not kept in touch, I have not forgotten that lady or the kind soul that she was. And I hope that she's still well and alive and spreading her light and love on this earth.